this map has so many sub 10-second deaths that I didn't bother to restart the application and the recording if I died before killing the archviles. The main thing at the very start of this map is what the Cyber Demon does. You have to get him mad at somebody else, which means you have to get somebody else mad at him, which means it's all about when and how he shoots. Like, this looks good, but then it's really unlikely for the archvile to target you that early. Anyway, once the Revenants are safely tethered to the Cyber Demon, and the Cyber Demon is tethered to them, they'll just hang out at the bottom of the pillar, and he won't be able to shoot them or they him. Here we go, this is happening. And then you're free to do this, which kind of also depends a little bit on what the Mancubus does. But this maneuver here is just, you will die 100% if the Cyber Demon is still mad at you. Or not 100%, about 85-90%. It's not worth doing. Anyway, and then, which of course you can't get the shotgun without killing those archviles. So it's all just, it's a setup that would be completely intolerable anywhere except at the start of a map. At the start of a map, it's kind of cool. It's pretty frustrating. This is a pretty hard rush. Although I'm pretty lucky here to have them all cluster up so they can take a bunch of shared damage. I end up, like at this point, I've usually gone through 100% of my rockets, and those Barons are still dead. 100%, not counting the 4 that are in front of them. You want to save at least 2 rockets from this fight for the chain gunners in the next room. But I'm not used to having any more than 4 tops. This is kind of interesting too. I don't know how those Hell Knights got the how they got mad at the Cyber Demon. I do it deliberately usually, but this room's kind of weird. You can see that there's a chain gun pickup behind that guy there. I think maybe the intended solution is to rush for the chain gun and then try to quick kill the pain elementals, but you don't have a lot of ammo if you do it that way. I guess you've got the chain gunners helping you. I don't know, I've tried it like that a couple times, and just quick killing them with the rocket launcher is much more easy and reliable. If for whatever reason you don't have any rocket ammo, you gotta do it the other way, and I usually die. I think this guy's here just to keep you from being able to exit. And then this teleporter is just to kill the Cyber Demon in the starting room. Everything's going pretty good so far. This next encounter is a pretty exacting setup as well. You've got enemies teleporting in at just one destination, so they're blocked off as long as another enemy is standing on the thing. There's also, right on the other side of the spire from me, there is a deaf Revenant on the Revenant teleporter, so as soon as you become visible to him, they start pouring in too. So you want to, I like to kill as many Mancubi as possible before doing that. Partially because it lets me just flip the switch earlier. The switch opens the exit from this room. So if you want to just be a sissy and leave early, that makes that possible. And also you don't have to... I think just in general it's nice to clear those guys out and let the Cyber Demon in earlier if possible. Since he warps in at the Mancubus warping point after the Mancubuses are exhausted. So the exit is the same place you came in, and it's just basically those Hell Knights making it a little scary to go up. When I beat this map before, I just, at about this phase of the encounter, I just waited for an opportunity and exited right out. This time I'm trying to go for the, to do maps properly. Maybe not necessarily UV Max, although I do UV Max this time. But, to not cheese stuff outrageously, so I want to actually kill everyone here. And trying to rely on infighting is not cheese. That's the absolute intended solution. trying to, I was kind of unlucky, but just trying to get more infighting started between him and the Hell Knights. Almost got my fool self killed there. He wins pretty much 100% of the time. The crack in the wall is kind of nice because he can see you and he'll try shooting at you, but he can't actually hit you. So killing this guy is partially just pride, but it also has some survival value as well, since you can see behind him is the exit. If you just leave this dude wandering around, which you can, you just have to, you know, worry about him pacing you out of nowhere as you're at the end of the total end of the level and have won, and then you die to the cyber demon, you'd be awful sad. Especially because, depending on how you do things, you could be escaping from a real hell, a real terrible melee as you're approaching there. So this is one of the most interesting and high concept encounters I've really ever seen in Doom. You've got, you know, the Archviles, they're not really flipping back and forth, they're on elevators that instantly raise and lower. So, you know, it makes managing your exposure, you know, easier than it would be if they were all always up there, but also rather complicated since there's a timing element to it. This is kind of badly done, and I shouldn't have grabbed the Megasphere until after he blew me up. I had enough to survive it. That's why I was doing it that way, so I could tank one hit. And just, you know, once you've eliminated the first two Revenants, I mean not Revenants, or Archviles, you have cover from the rest. There's really no cover that will shield you from the nearest. So I'm thinking about the timing of when I escape, and you want to do it like in the middle of the switchover essentially. So if an Archvile targets you, he'll be, man, I'm so behind myself now. If an Archvile targets you, he'll disappear before he can actually attack you, and then the get guy that's coming in also will not be able to get it off before you have escaped. I almost mistimed it there, but then had some insanely bad luck with the two Archviles from this monster closet. The first blast I took was actually because the fucking rocket splash damage actually pushed him a little bit to the left and caused him to have a line of sight to me behind the pillar. That sucked. And then the second was just me being a noob. So I can't exactly call it luck, but it just was a rough break. A couple of rough breaks. And the worst thing here is the damn corpses, you know, making it hard for you to see what's going on. Anyway, that part was a mess, but it's always a mess. Like, I've never really had it not be. So there's about one of the, I'm not sure exactly what triggers it, but you can see there's some cells down there. One of the middle pillars sort of skeletonized itself and revealed those things. So you really want that for the final. So I'm sort of, you can just, you know, time it and run in, run out, grab them. But I figure I bothered to kill everybody in that last fight. I might as well kill all these guys too. This is a noob move. I didn't see that guy had started his spell right before I went around the corner. Pretty lucky I didn't die, honestly. There's not much variation to how much damage the Archviles do, but I think there is a little bit. It's very narrating. This part's a little slow. I mean, you know. Killing Archviles. That sucks. You also want to save your rockets for the finale, because it's a real ball buster. Get hung up there and almost get my fool self killed. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, finally. And I totally forgot about these. I could have grabbed them earlier. Though actually, no, I still would not have survived a blast at 79%. Pretty much guaranteed, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so now there's nothing left but the final battle, and it's brutal. You get 3 simultaneous monster closets, one with imps backed up by revenants, one with barons, a lot of barons, and one with cacodemons teleporting in behind you. It's from all directions. There's really not enough room, especially since you need to rely on the rocket launcher for the DPS. It's just insanely fucking hard. And it's a lot due to crowd shaping, like how you lure them. So I'm staying in this corner to try to lure everyone forward, so I have this space to go in and grab these cells. And I almost don't get out, but I get out. And then I reach here, my heart just drops, because this shouldn't happen. The revenants, I don't know what it is, they were late coming out of the closet. There's no space here where there usually is some. But like, I make the snap decision just to escape again. Go for broke, man. That's all so nasty. I can't believe I survived the last 15 seconds. It's just a horrible situation. And all of a sudden, it's not a horrible situation. This is actually really good for this part. There's so much room. Like, I've got a lot of rocket ammo. I take a completely unnecessary plasma bolt because I'm a retard. My heart rate's really elevating at this point when I was doing this. And I can't actually just go up those stairs since I flipped all the triggers. I could just escape, but I'm like, no, fuck this, I'm doing it right. I mean, it's not hard at this point. There's just, you know, being a noob because my hands are shaking, my palms are sweating, but I'm still not headshotting. Look how jumpy I am. Alright, huge sigh of relief. That's it. Everyone's dead. Man, what a rush. This map, it is a crazy map. Kind of unfair. Really unfair, actually, in some parts, but really fun. Whew. And you know, the map after is even harder, so I might never post another video. Let's find out.